Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the 6th September special on PTV World. I'm your host Omar Khalid. But today is a Defense and Martyrs Day. It is the day that we realize the work, all the sacrifices that our Jawans have given in all the different forces, whether it be the Army, the Air Force or the Navy, to uphold the valor of our country, to uphold the defense of our country. We need to realize that without them, our country's defense cannot uphold all the different kinds of warfare that Pakistan has been confronted with over the different decades. The 6th of September reminds us of that. The 6th of September also reminds us of all the hardships that these people from the forces go through so that they can protect all of the citizens of Pakistan from the harm that we can get through internal and external forces. Before we go to our guests and talk about what the forces mean to them and what is their resolve while being in the forces, let's watch this short report.
The momentous day of September 6th is observed every year with an undaunted patriotic fervor and nationalistic enthusiasm, sending a message loud and clear to regional pariah India that the Pakistani nation and its brave armed forces are fully prepared to frustrate any designs against the country's sovereignty and integrity. On September 6, 1965, Pakistan faced a grave threat to its territorial integrity, which the nation and its valiant armed forces met with stupendous courage, foiling their sinister ambitions of the much stronger arch-rival India. Following the national precedent, nation is observing Defence Day to pay tribute to the martyrs, Ghazis and their loved ones for unwavering national spirit, patriotism and courage for rendering sacrifices to safeguard the motherland. Delineating the theme of this year's Defence and Martyrs Day, the DGISPR in his news conference announced that the theme is Watan Ki Mitti Gawah Rehna. The valiant air warriors of Pakistan Air Force during the air battle of 1965 displayed unparalleled professionalism and bravery to defend the homeland. The soil of the country is a witness to endeavors of its brave forces in nation building and protection against existential threats from terrorist India. Historically, Pakistan started its life in an extremely challenging scenario owing to Indian belligerence and stubbornness of saffron political establishment to admit the birth of Muslim homeland. This insurmountable resolve of martyrs to liquidate the nefarious designs of imperial tyrant India serve as glowing example for entire nation.
Now to talk about the resolve, the resilience and all that goes along with the discipline of the forces in order to thwart all such designs of the enemy for the defense of our motherland, that is Pakistan. We've been joined by guests from the Pakistan Air Force. Let me introduce them to you one by one. On my very right is Squadron Leader Ahmed Ali Raza. You belong to the Squadron number 10, which is located at the Noor Khan Air Base. Thank you very much, sir, to have joined us.
Welcome.
Our second guest is a comparatively younger officer, but nevertheless an officer who also represents the Pakistan Air Force. You are Flight Lieutenant Asad Rehman. You belong to the Squadron number 52, and that is also located at the Noor Khan Base. Thank you very much to have joined us. Let's begin with you, Squadron Leader Ahmed Ali Raza. What motivated you to join the Pakistan Air Force?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In my case, the things were a bit different. Like everyone has certain inspiration in his family to join the forces, but my motivation and my inspiration was that I wanted to be the first one to join the forces so that I can be the role model for my children and all the family members. So before me there was no one in the
You're
forces.
the first one in your family.
I was the first one, and basically my elder brothers, they also tried, but God willingly, I was the one who was fortunate enough to get selected. So I feel really lucky to be the part of this elite organization. So that was the basic motivation.
All right, that is wonderful. There's a little incident that I'd like you to narrate to us as well a bit later in the program. But let's go to our second guest, Asad Rehman. when you entered the Air Force, or when you wanted to join the Air Force, what was the main resolve, the determination that you had in your mind that prompted you to join this part of the forces?
So, in my case, same as Squadron Ahmed, there was no one from any armed background. I am the first one to be in the armed forces from my family. And so from a very younger age, my only motivation was to go to Air Force as a flying pilot. So as
how young were you when you had that
I was
motivation?
in a 3rd or 4th grade.
All right.
When first time I watched the documentaries of Rashid Minhas and Alam on 6th September show, and from that day something clicked in my side, and my only resolve was I have to go to the Air Force.
All right.
That's it.
And you made that dream come true.
And my family supported me very well, and I made that dream come true. And thanks to Allah Almighty that I'm in Air Force now.
That is wonderful. And there's also a little story that I'd like to ask you, but a bit later. Squadron Leader Ahmed Ali Raza Saab, your elder brother wanted to join the forces. Your other siblings also wanted to join the forces, but somehow they could not, because it's a tough process to enter the forces, whether it be the Air Force or the Army or the Navy. And then you're the younger one who joins the Air Force. You were narrating before the show an incident with your elder brother whom you're very close to, and when you joined it and when you went to the passing out parade, that he made a surprise appearance there. Could you narrate that to us?
Yeah, actually, as I said that once he couldn't get into the forces, so he wanted his younger brother to be the part of it. So he was like holding my finger from the childhood and teaching me different ways how to be a good human being, and then how to end up at a respectable position in your life. So luckily I ended up in Pakistan Air Force, but at that time he was not in Pakistan, he was abroad. So once at the time of graduation and the passing out parade in Rasalpur Academy, Alhamdulillah I was leading the parade because I had that appointment with me. So my parents were there. I was knowing that in the audience my family, my parents are sitting, but I was not knowing that my brother would be there. So once at the end of the passing out parade, once we see our families in the dining hall, so it was really shocking for me to see my brother who came all the way from abroad just to see his younger brother, the dream coming true. And there were tears of joy in his eyes, and that's the moment I can never forget, because he always wanted me to be at that place, and I did it, and it's an unbelievable experience, and I will always cherish that moment.
I think unbelievable experience is also the fact that you enter a force that is as recognized as the Pakistan Air Force or the Pakistan Army or Pakistan Navy. These three forces, you know, are set a certain benchmark for all of those who enter those forces. How was the experience for you? It is a whole 1 year tedious process before you get finally admitted into one of the forces, especially when it concerns the Pakistan Air Force. How and when did you get to know that you had finally been selected?
So it's a very interesting story actually. After the SSB, I had to go my home quickly as soon as possible for my parents. So I traveled almost 10 to 12 hours with no sleep at night. So I was very tired. As I went to home, I met my parents, my siblings, and went straight to the bed. Meanwhile, I was asleep. My mother received call from my instructor from college that I have been selected for the SSB. So they were happy, celebrating, but I was fast asleep. I didn't know anything. And in this scenario, the instructor called again and asked my mother if there is any other person with the same name or the chest number I was wearing there. So they didn't knew. So the instructor said there might be a confusion that he is cleared or not cleared. That led to a very amazing scenario. My mother, she got her blood pressure shoot, and we had to take her to the doctor. And I was asleep. I didn't know. My mother tried to wake me up, but I didn't.
But because you were too tired to.
I was too tired. I didn't know. And when I woke up in the evening at 5 or 6, all was celebrating again, because then again my instructor called that the confusion has been cleared. I have been cleared. So I have been watching them celebrating. Then I saw some medicines with my mother, and I asked my younger brother what happened. Then he narrated me the whole story, and it was a really
so a lot of drama had gone on
lot
before
of
you were
drama.
finally you got to know that you had been selected for your training at the Pakistan Air Force. Nevertheless, they must be so proud of you now.
They are very proud, sir, because I am the first one from my family from any side. No one is in the armed forces from any side in Army, Air Force or Navy.
All right. Squadron leader Ahmed, a person sets a benchmark when one enters the forces, whether it be the Pakistan Air Force or the Army or the Navy. And you set an example for so many others to follow. You've got 2 kids of your own, mashallah. Your wife is in the naval forces. How easy or difficult is it for 2 partners to be working for 2 different forces and not be together?
Yes, it is challenging, especially once you have children. So it becomes challenging for the parents, for the working couple, for the brought of children. But Alhamdulillah, we both have very supportive families who take care of kids in our absence. And secondly, our organization, Pakistan Air Force, if we say it is second to none, there is a meaning behind it, because it looks after the welfare of all the officers and all the men and all the civilians, every personnel who is the part of this organization. He and his family is being taken care of. So there are state-of-the-art facilities available in different where the children can be looked after. So there are daycares available. So we have that peace of mind that even our absence, our organization is taking care of it. So we are managing. It's challenging, but by virtue of so much sportive parents and by virtue of welfare provided by our organization, we are managing it to the best of our capabilities, alhamdulillah.
That is wonderful, mashallah. And it's also heartening to note that an organization, especially the forces, take care of your loved ones the way you want them to be taken care of. And I think that kind of gives you a sigh of relief that whatever you do, wherever you are, your family is being catered to in the right manner. Flight Lieutenant Asad Rehman Saab, there are 3 pillars of the Pakistan Air Force that include integrity, teamwork and discipline. How important are these 3 for leading the life, whether personal or professional, whether you be part of the forces or not?
Sir, I think it's not only the 3 main pillars of Air Force. I believe these are the main 3 pillars of my life. If a person doesn't have integrity or discipline, he cannot live a life properly. He cannot succeed in his life. And with the teamwork, sir, from our very early days in our home, there is always a teamwork of a mother, a father and their children. There is always a teamwork. If you do not have the teamwork and the integrity or discipline for the teamwork, you cannot succeed in your life. These 3 pillars are interconnected with each other in every aspect. The other 2 support the one. Integrity supports teamwork and discipline. Discipline supports your teamwork and integrity. You cannot succeed in your life or in armed forces without these 3 pillars.
All right. Squadron leader Ahmed Raza, how does any force, in your case the Pakistan Air Force, change you as a person, as a professional? How much does it integrate the values that need to be inculcated in you?
Actually, like, we are celebrating this day because of the success. Our predecessors had set a great example for us. They are like role models for us, and it is very easy once you have a benchmark and a role model. You can easily follow their footsteps to be successful in life. Similarly, the greatest thing about this organization is that there are heroes who left their stories behind and who achieved lot of success. So it is very easy for us just to follow that, and we can be successful. So once we are part of this organization, so the discipline, integrity and the values and all the ethical values which should be there in a person in general and to be in any soldier in particular, they are inculcated through the training we undergo initially in Risalpur Academy, and then further on in our units and wherever we go. So there is a continuous process and the higher command, our air headquarters, they are putting a lot of emphasis on our training, how to make good officers, because the first and the foremost thing for a soldier is the discipline, the integrity, and the values which you are talking about. If you are not a good human being and you don't have that value, you can never be a good professional. And all the great example, the Sarfaraz Rafique Shahid, the Alam, the great warrior, we listen to the great stories. They were gem of a persons, they were great human beings, and the people who were around them, they narrate stories that they were just not
Even
good
Noor Khan
professionals.
Saab, I mean,
yes,
whose base you has been
he was
even
such a great commander at that time, and it's really heartening to be the part of that organization which have so many great role models to be followed.
All right. Training is very important, Flight Lieutenant Asadur Rahman Saab, in any force. I mean, especially whether it comes to Pakistan Air Force, because according to the unit, you are either taught flying in a proper manner, or if you are at a base, then you perform training accordingly. When you undergo training, there are a lot of working hours. There sometimes are long hours as well. How much does the force train you for any eventuality, when and if that happens, and how to deal with it?
Sir, we go through a very long training process. As Colonel Ahmed said, it's a training process from the induction in the academy till the day of retirement from the Air Force. It's a long, continuous going on process. We have been trained in academy to deal any kind of situation under any kind of pressure, because when you entered in armed forces, you are supposed to have pressure at any point, anywhere, in any time. So you have to be prepared for everything, and you don't get surprised by anything. You have to be ready for anything that is coming your way.
All right. Squadron Leader Ahmed Ali Raza Saab, the Pakistan Air Force was also quite instrumental during the initial days, and of course afterwards during the COVID pandemic as well. Before the show, we were discussing a little bit about that, and you were telling me how you also were part of operations that were bringing in the vaccines from Wuhan. You were one of the first that entered Wuhan as well, along with, I mean, that was a joint operation with the NCOC. Would you narrate one or two incidents concerning that?
Actually, now since every country having multiple threats, from like we move from conventional warfare to non-conventional warfare. So when we talk about Pakistan Air Force and his personnel, it's just not about defending the aerial boundaries. It's about supporting the nationals or all the Pakistanis, and whenever the situation needs this organization, Pakistan Air Force is the first one to respond. And similarly, as you said, the pandemic during the COVID-19 situation, Alhamdulillah, number 10 Squadron was the first one and to reach Wuhan at that time. And Alhamdulillah, we brought all the necessary kits and apparatus which was direly needed at that time. And then further on, we brought the vaccination to Pakistan, and that was really a great achievement, because once we are putting ourselves to the risks, why we are doing? We are just doing it for the betterment of our nation, to protect all the people who don't have access to what we have, what we can do for them. Similarly, in 1965 war, once there was a need, people holding the six were going towards the border to fight with without any guns, and the women were, you know, were selling each and everything, their belongings to support the army. So when the nation calls for it, we respond in a similar manner, whether it's relief operations or like in earthquake, after the earthquake, to provide the relief. And even if there are floods anywhere, in every time of need,
Pakistan Air Force is
always ready, and we are always supporting the noble cause.
Of course, the noble cause is very important, isn't it, Flight Lieutenant Asadur Rahman, when it comes to peace times or war times? Now, I'm sure, being a young recruit, you have seen a lot, you've heard a lot. When you hear inspiring stories of Alam Saab or of Noor Khan Saab, there are so many other examples that you look up to and you desire to be like them one day. What is the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear those stories of valor, of sacrifice?
So we have been inculcated by the Air Force nationalism in our blood. So whenever we heard these stories, the stories of our heroes, we cherish them, and we hope that there comes a time when we have this honor to perform for our nation. We are always ready and always desiring something for that I can do for my nation, for my country, and I'm always ready if a situation, God forbid, if any situation come, I will not think of 1 second, and I will straight away go ahead. Because whenever we heard these stories are stories of valors, we cherish them. They are our role models.
That is so true. And it always gives a certain lesson to you on how to react in times of crisis, in times of war, because there are examples that have already been set by predecessors that are heroes, in fact, not to us, but I think to all the world in general. The way M.M. Alam defended our motherland, the way Noor Khan Sahab defended our motherland, these are examples that need to be cherished by everyone, whether you are part of the forces or not, whether you are a Pakistani or not, because these are examples that are heralded worldwide. Now, coming to Squadron leader Ahmed Ali Raza Sahab, let's come a bit in the recent past and to the Operation Swift Retort. The Pakistan Air Force played a very important role in this operation as well. Were you directly or indirectly involved? Did you observe? Were you seeing there as things were developing? And what was the main resolve within the Pakistan Air Force when all of it was happening?
Alhamdulillah, I was part of that mission. Every person who was related to PF was performing his or her duties when it was required. So at that time, it was really heartening to see everyone coming to the commanders and saying, I want to do it, I want to do it. Even if sometimes the commander used to say that you need to rest, and the person used to say, no, it's a high time. I can rest any time in my life, but this is that call of duty and I need to perform and I need to give my 100%. So I saw that emotions and that courage out of every officer, man, civilian, every personnel of Pakistan Air Force at that time. And for Indian Air Force, it was again a lesson what we saw in all the previous wars. Like in 1965, they thought that they could give us a surprise, and it was never a surprise, because being a professional organization, such a trained, disciplined organization, we know how enemy can hit us, and we are always one step ahead of our enemy in our planning, and then always one step ahead in terms of execution. They thought that they can conquer the Lahore and they can have the coffee sitting in the Lahore next day once they...
Well, they did have tea, didn't they?
And similarly, we gave them the cup of tea, and that was fantastic according to them, and whole world saw that how we showed them the professionalism, the resilience and deterrence, because we are peace-loving nation and we never want to be at war. But if someone dares to look at us with bad intentions, we gonna respond in a way a professional organization or the country demands us to do so. And we did it in the Operation Swift Retort. And basically, it is very important to mention here that every soldier has emotions, but once you are part of a force who is disciplined, you have to control your emotion to execute what your command says so. So we shot down 2 aircrafts. We could have shot down many aircrafts. They were very easy targets available to us. And once the people say that we missed our target, it was never like that. We are such a professional organization. We like in Mujahideen Flag, one of the show, our DCS operation showed the video which was evidence that all the important points which were there, we hit close to that. To give the proportionate response to Indian Air Force, because
we can, but we won't.
Yeah, we can do it, but we don't want an
escalation.
An escalation which can turn this region into fire. So we never want it. But at the same time, we can never admit and we can never let anyone challenge our sovereignty and attack our sovereignty. We will respond in a way we did every time there was need for it, and we will do it every time once it's required.
All right. Wonderful. Thank you very much to the both of you to be continuing to talk to us about this very interesting aspect of the forces, that is the Pakistan Air Force, the examples, the benchmarks that have been set, and the role that has been played by the Pakistan Air Force in the Operation Swift Retort, amongst so many other different incidents and the wars, especially the 1965 war. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to take a short break. We'll be back after that to talk more about the forces and the importance of this day, that is the 6th of September. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're watching the 6th of September special. Today is the day that we honor our gentlemen from the different forces and our ladies as well, who are working and who have also sacrificed their lives for the defense of the motherland. That is our country, the Islamic Republic of Pakistan. We've been joined by a third guest in this segment, and let me introduce him to you without any further delay. His name is Flight Lieutenant Shahzaib Iqbal, and you've come all the way from Peshawar. You belong to the Squadron number 81, that is a search and rescue squadron. And I'd like to understand, where does that resolve to enter the Pakistan Air Force come from? Was it the family that wanted you to become a pilot or to join the forces? Was it something that you wanted to do since childhood?
Well, first of all, I would like to thank you for having me on the show on this auspicious day. And joining Pakistan Air Force was like every child's dream, which I had since my childhood. And later on it became the vision for my parents as well. So here I am.
All right. Here you are. And I was talking to the other two officers, and they were saying that it takes almost a year for you to finally get your entry into the Pakistan Air Force. This whole year's process, is it full of a lot of pressure, a lot of tension, whether you'll get in or not, and that passion that despite what happens, you'll continue trying?
Absolutely, that's very correct, because it took me a little longer than a year, because I got rejected first, then but I did not lose hope, and I kept on trying, and Alhamdulillah, I'm part of this prestigious organization.
That is wonderful. But you know, there's something, a lot of us lose hope when they are faced with failure. Why is that so? And what should one motivate oneself in order to continue trying, to continue have that passion to move forward in the direction that you want to?
I would say cause. If you look upon the cause, it's bigger than anything else. And that cause keeps you motivating, not only then, but even today and every day when we are at work, whenever we are defending the aerial boundaries of this country. The cause is the one thing that motivates us and keeps on pushing forward.
All right, 9 years in this squadron. You belong to Karachi, but you are here in Peshawar. How important is camaraderie in the forces or any organization? Let's talk of yours, that is the Pakistan Air Force. How important is that bonding that you have with your other officers, with your other colleagues, in order to become a team?
That is the basic fundamentals of Pakistan Air Force, because if we are not the team, then we are no good to our cause. We have to see the fact that integrity, excellence and teamwork are the core values of Pakistan Air Force, and that's what we follow, and that's what helps us in our everyday tasks.
All right.
Yes.
You've flown a lot of aircrafts.
Yes.
And of course, I've flown one, but it is a totally different experience when you're flying an aircraft as well. When you fly different kinds of aircrafts, what is going through your mind when you do that? Whether it be for rescue and search and rescue that you are part of, whether it be to defend our motherland, what is the basic intention? What is the basic motivation, or what is going on through your mind when you're flying an aircraft?
Whenever we are going for a mission, we keep all our things aside, ourselves aside, and we just focus on the basic requirements of the mission. And with every changing platform, that is the aircraft I'm talking about, with every changing platform, there is certain requirements, operational requirements of that platform. Like so for search and rescue, there is a different platform which we fly, and for combat missions, we fly different aircrafts. So whenever we are proceeding for a mission, and the platform which we are flying, we actually focus on the basic requirements of those platform, and as well as the mission requirements which we have to achieve, because there's no turning back without achieving our goals.
I think that is very important. You should achieve your goals, come what may, whether you're part of the forces or not. But being in the forces, this is one of the values that is put inside of you, inculcated in you since the very beginning, even during your training process. Squadron leader Ahmed Ali Raza, you belong to the squadron number 10, and it is air-to-air refueler squadron. What is the basic aim, objective of this squadron?
Actually, this squadron has rich history. It was established in 1959 for some time, but at that time it had bombers available. Later on, this squadron was not anymore, but those bombers participated in 1965 war very actively. Later on, in a decade ago, this squadron was again established, and IL-78 were inducted in that squadron, and with air-to-air refueler capability, and it is a great capability which is required by Pakistan Air Force, which is of strategic in nature. Like the fighter aircraft now don't have to come back to the ground and have to get refuel. Now in the air we have that capability, alhamdulillah.
How long does it take to refuel an aircraft in the air?
Like we are tanker aircraft and we are refueling different fighter aircraft, so it depends upon the type of aircraft and the amount of fuel you are transferring. So that is according to the requirement, but on for mission objectives and for as far as the capability is concerned, alhamdulillah, it is great achievement and another feather in the cap.
All right, wonderful. Flight Lieutenant Asad Rehman Saab, yours is squadron number 52, and it is air transport and support squadron. What are the different responsibilities that are given to your squadron?
Sir, as by the name air transport and support, we give rapid transportation for the troops and the personnel of the Air Force from short, medium or long routes. So there are some fields where bigger aircrafts like IL or C-130 cannot go. You have to make a shorter takeoff, shorter landings. For that purpose, we use our squadron. Our basic role is rapid transportation of transport, but it can be used as air ambulance. And in case of if the situation comes, we can do airdrop deliveries of the bombs or any other things. Like C-130 was used in 65 war for the dropping of bombs from the air. The same can be done from our squadron, and we have been training day and night for this, and we are waiting for an opportunity.
All right, waiting for an opportunity. Flight Lieutenant Shahzaib Iqbal Saab, when it comes to opportunities, you get a lot, because rescue and search and rescue is something that we require more or less regularly, more than war times. How important is the training process for the search and rescue operations that your squadron undergoes, and how vigilant does your squadron need to be on these 24 hours, because any emergency can come at any moment?
That's absolutely correct, that we have to stay on toes at every minute of the hour, because being in a search and rescue squadron, I feel that whenever there are other aircrafts flying in the vicinity, we have to be present and vigilant at the same time, because God forbid, if any unwanted situation occurs, we have the responsibility to respond to that situation and recover our assets or pilots or any other
person or any other civilian,
yes.
or even
Exactly.
whatever happens in any calamity, you need to be ready 24 hours a day for that calamity to happen.
Exactly.
There's always somebody on standby in your squadron, come
Yes.
what may, at any
Yes.
time in any place in Pakistan if something happens. I
Yes.
think that's very important, and I think the different squadrons with the different responsibilities are an important asset to not only the forces but also to Pakistan, to our civilians such as myself as well in times of distress, which makes me come to a very important and pertinent point, and I'll begin with you, Squadron Leader Ahmed Raza Saab. When we ask a normal person, especially the youth of Pakistan, what is patriotism to you? What is the love of the motherland to you? A lot of people do not or cannot properly comprehend or understand that. Why is that so? And in the forces, what is taught to you as far as patriotism and love for the motherland is concerned?
If I give short and very comprehensive answer, it's a 3-word answer. It is service before self. So once you are not thinking about your own self and you are thinking to defend the motherland at the cost of the last drop of your blood, you need a faith and certain motivation to do that. You cannot do that with certain amount of money given to you. You have to have a certain objective in your mind. Like if we are being a Muslim, is a great, is a blessing that we have that Jazba Shahadat. All soldiers have that within themselves. So when the time needs that emotion, that uplift really helps you to go at a place where you don't think of yourself anymore, and you are willing to sacrifice each and everything you have to protect the mothers, the children, and every people of, who are having faith on you that we are protected. And if we say that sleep tight, PF is awake, so it really means that we are doing something day in night out to make our nation feel protected, safe, and so that they can perform their duties without thinking of the enemy. We are here to fight against the enemy, and we proved in the past, and the history proves that, and the books written by our enemies, and even they admit the professionalism, the valor shown by our pilots is
also the tea given to our enemies is something that is exemplary, and they remember us by that. Now, when the youth come for training, or when your juniors come, you must have met so many of the juniors, because you have, mashallah, around 11 years of experience now, and we've got one with 9 years, one with 3 years experience sitting next to you. When the youth come to you, how motivated do you feel they are as far as serving the motherland is concerned? And what is the zeal, the passion that they have? Do you feel that it's the same level that was when you entered the Pakistan Air Force, or when your seniors entered the Pakistan Air Force? Or do you feel times are changing and it is only with the certain amount of training that the youth understand the concept of patriotism and love of the motherland?
Actually, when we talk about organization, it's a group of individuals, and the organization is since ages, and every time a new person is inducted, he has to follow or she has to follow the legacy which is left behind all the elders. So it is very much important to train the individuals to such a manner that each and every day the organization improves and the individuals never lose the standard which is set by their elders. So that is the case with Pakistan Air Force. Alhamdulillah, with each and every passing day, there are new challenges, and we have to equip ourselves with the state-of-the-art weapons and everything, and our leadership is doing that, the political leadership, the military leadership. We have, as a soldier, alhamdulillah, we have trust on our leadership, and they are playing their role in that. So for us it becomes really easy once we have that faith in our leadership just to follow the orders. So for every individual who is just coming to the organization, he or she just has to obey the orders and have trust in the commander that the order which is being given has certain meaning to it. And once you develop that faith, it becomes easy for the organization to manage individuals, and ultimately the organization flourish day by day.
That is very important, you know, that trust and that understanding and that learning process. I think all of you have gone through it, but let's ask the youngest of the three. Flight Lieutenant Asad or Rehman Saab, how much do you learn from your seniors on the job? I mean, there's the training process, there's the whole classes and everything, but apart from that, there's also that learning from your seniors, those who have gone through the years and years of experience that you will go through as well, inshallah, with time. What are the basic essence, what are the basic ingredients of the processes that you learn from them?
So first of all, seniors in our organization, our senior leaders or commanders, they always try to train us, they always try to teach us good things that are good for our organization and for our personal life as well. So we are learning from our instructors and seniors day by day. There is this old saying that no shortcut to experience.
True.
And we believe it. I believe it with my heart. I cannot achieve something that I haven't experienced of. So I'm learning from the experience and the service of my seniors, and they are very kind and always trying to teach us the new generation, new era, the new equipment. They are always trying to they try that we should be better than them when we are at their stage.
I think it's important to continue with that learning process no matter how many years you have put in the force or in any organization. I think the day you stop learning is the day you start stagnating. And I think after 9 years of service, you can also understand that you are still in the learning process, aren't you?
Exactly. I really feel that I'm still in the learning process. No matter that I've come so far, that in these 9 years, I'm a completely changed man.
All right. What has changed in you? I mean, to be on a personal note, I'd like to ask, what changes in you when you enter the forces? How do you better yourself as an individual?
The training imparted to us not only changes us in the way as a human being, but also it polishes us a lot with respect to the discipline, with respect to the professionalism, and in other traits of life as well. And collectively, all of that helps a person to become better day by day.
All right. When the people come to you, for example, I'm sure there are many young boys or girls who want to enter the forces just like you did, and you never lost hope. This is something that I really want to put out there.
Yes.
When they ask you, what should I do to enter the forces, or should I enter the forces, what is your answer?
We should enter forces because this is one of the most prestigious organizations of our country, and the type of work they are doing, it's marvelous.
All right.
Yes.
The work that the forces do, whether it be the Pakistan Air Force, the Army or the Navy, of course they are doing a wonderful job, not only to defend our motherland, but also to create certain benchmarks for other organizations to follow, whether it be discipline, whether it be the way you are trained, whether it be all the educational capabilities that you are enshrined with, given during the course of your training, and of course in all of the years that you put in. Being, I mean, not a veteran, but of course more than 10 years of experience, I'll ask the same question that I asked Shahzaib. When the youth come to you and say, oh, I want to join the Air Force, do you feel anybody can or should join the Air Force, or there should be a certain prerequisite as far as his or her personality is concerned that is adequate for the forces?
Yes, it is a very important question that you asked, and it is very important for the youth to know that to be the part of Air Force or Army, to wish that is very good, and it is very much important. to serve the motherland. But at the same time, what is important, that you need to understand that everyone cannot be the part of forces. And once you are not selected, you need to understand that there is certain criteria. It's not that you are good or bad that you are getting selected. There is certain criteria, selection criteria. The person fulfills that criteria and gets selected. And if you don't fulfill that criteria, you don't get selected. So first of all, you need to have the faith in the system. Like with three, we don't have any other member who was part of this organization, but we got selected. So it's a foolproof system. First have faith, try your best, wish to be the part of it. But if you don't get selected, then believe in Almighty Allah, excuse me, that Allah Almighty has
different
designs
designs
for you, and you can be a good doctor, engineer, a businessman. So do whatever you are doing to the best of your capabilities to serve the motherland in your own area of responsibility.
All right. Flight Lieutenant Asadur Rehman Saab, you're the youngest of all three. So what message would you like to give to the youth of Pakistan, coming from, of course, a Pakistan Air Force officer, on this very important day, the Defense and Martyrs Day? What is the message that needs to come across?
So, as today's Defense Day, the message is patriotism and nationalism. But for having patriotism and nationalism, you should have faith in yourself and in your country, because faith is the soul of any process. Faith is the soul of our religion, of our life. If we don't have faith in anything, we cannot believe it. So today my message to the youth is have faith in your country and your armed forces.
All right. And finally, Flight Lieutenant Shahzaib Iqbal, looking back at those 9 years that you've served the Air Force, and of course never giving up hope and pursuing your passion and this need to enter the forces, and which eventually you did, and mashallah, you're doing a wonderful job after all of these years. What is the message of hope, of resolve that you'd like to give to those who are watching, of those who are kind of unsettled by certain results or downfalls in their personal and professional lives?
I would say that come what may, never lose hope in Allah Almighty, because the only person letting you down is your own self. If you will keep on fighting with your own self, you will never be losing at any stage. There may be setbacks, but they can always be overcome.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you to all three of you, Squadron Leader Ahmed Raza from Squadron number 10, Flight Lieutenant Asadur Rehman from Squadron number 52, and finally Flight Lieutenant Shahzaib Iqbal from Squadron number 81, to have joined us for this very important program on this very important day, to talk about the different values that are important for the forces of our country, and what you've been taught and trained for in these forces over the last couple of years, and also the messages that you've given now about the youth, about never to lose hope, about the trust in yourself, and about always fighting against yourself to become a better person, a better individual, and a better professional. I think that is also one of the values that the forces put into you, so that you you come up high amongst the ranks of individuals, and you come up as those officers that we as civilians of Pakistan are extremely proud of. You are the defenders of our country in different spheres of life, and without you, we as a nation cannot survive. So thank you again to all three of you. You represent an organization that has been instrumental in defending our motherlands, whether it be in the 1965 war, and if we come very recently in the Operation Swift Retort, and will continue to depend and rely on the Pakistan Air Force as well as the other forces to continue to give us that safe haven in which we can lead our lives in a proper manner. Ladies and gentlemen, the 6th of September is a day that should always be remembered every day of the year by us civilians, because this is a day that is a hallmark, a benchmark for other days of the year, so that we understand a country that we live in, a country where we have the freedom to eat, drink, and pursue our ambitions, is also a country that is faced with a lot of different designs by those who do not want our country to survive. It is because of our forces that have laid down their lives over the last decades, that continue to work to defend our motherlands, that we can heave a sigh of relief, that we can spend our days in a motherland that we can call our own Pakistan. Thank you to all our forces, whether it be the Pakistan Air Force, the Army or the Navy, to make us that independent citizen of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan. Happy Defence and Martyrs Day to all of you. Allah Hafiz.